A very good morning, Fabio here, and welcome back to another daily market outlook. So we're about to do a live session inside Discord. It's free, so make sure to join, link in the description down below and in the comment section. So with that said, let's just dive into today's market outlook with, first of all, of course, EURUSD. So EURUSD had that corrective descending price action, as we all know. So we were looking at this descending channel. If we just expand this trend line in the same direction, we can very clearly see that we had an overextended move in towards the downside, so this big impulse down, and after that we were getting this descending correction, after which we've now broken out in towards the upside. So we ended up indeed reversing from this area of demand, pretty much grabbed liquidity underneath this low, saw a bullish reaction in towards the upside. Remember guys, we were keeping an eye on some potential shorts, but as we can see, after this fractal low break over here on this bearish candle's low, we never really saw any follow through in towards the downside. So this is just another lesson which you can take notes of, is that when you see a change of character, the change of character will always be stronger if you see a candle close and not only just a wick break, just to indicate that there is actual follow through in towards the downside. Obviously it doesn't always need to happen that the market reverses in towards the upside if we, for example, don't see a candle close below the fractal low. But as you see, for example, here we get a strong candle close underneath the fractal low, indicating that there is still a lot of bearish momentum, and we do indeed again follow through in towards the downside. So keep that in mind when trading the overall fractal structure. This was now just more of a liquidity grab, also with the fact that we were inside that area of demand. So what's now happened is that after seeing that descending price action, which is always a sign of a reversal, and there are many more examples of this where we get that descending, let's say corrective nature, as I like to call it. Over here, for example, we had pretty much the exact same, where we get this overextended move down and then this corrective price action and then a massive push upwards. So I'm kind of looking for the same in this instance, where we had that overextended move, now the correction, and now that we've seen a tap back in towards the overall order flow with this wick, I'm now looking to see if we can just continue with the overall momentum up higher. Now this is your entire demand zone. Of course we could refine it simply just into here, but for me this is already enough. If the 15-minute now shows me that the market is ready to just continue pushing on EU, I will get into a long position on EU. Now going into the daily, obviously you guys know what I've been looking at on the daily. This has been our demand zone, and we've now reacted to it. We've seen a daily fractal high change over here. This isn't the real fractal high, this is just kind of like an internal high. Obviously the real fractal high is the blue line over here. And what do I mean with the fractal high? That's just your structural high for now. So we're just seeing a pullback, and there is still a lot of room for a pullback on EURUSD. As you can see, we have not yet hit the 50% mark, so still waiting for higher prices here on the daily from demand, at least guys, in towards this supply zone over here. This is number one, these two wicks, and then after that, of course, the higher probability zone being the upper area of supply over here. So waiting for that. One other thing that we should all just really not forget is that the overall structure is still bullish, right? So we've seen a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and now this could be just your new higher low. Measuring this overall impulse from this low into the highs, what you've then seen is a perfect 50% retracement, right? So a perfect 50% retracement. So now looking to see if we can trade the overall continuation. So for me, it would be valid if we start breaking the high over here to look for a long. So waiting for that high to break, and then potentially going to get into a long, but we'll discuss more of this inside the live stream. Okay, so just waiting for that. Now going into the dollar index, because the dollar index sold off pretty aggressively yesterday. Now going into the daily, obviously after this daily fractal structure change, or any, let's say, break in structure, because this is also considered a break of structure, we just don't call it that, because a break of structure is just purely on swing structure. We expect a pullback, so we're now getting that pullback into the downside. There is still room for the dollar index to fall down lower, in my opinion. So we're just waiting to see what will happen. For now, the overall order flow is bearish, so just continue looking for further downside from the dollar index. That is my 2 cents. As we can see, pretty much the same pattern as on EU again. And I've mentioned this in previous videos. We have a one high, second high, and then a fake out on that second high, and then we get that downside movement. So yeah, pretty interesting price action. I'll look to see what will happen once we reach this area of demand here on the dollar index. That is my next target of around 101.123. Going into AUDUSD, what has happened over there? To be honest, I didn't really look too much at AUDUSD. What we can see, however, is that we got a perfect pullback after grabbing liquidity underneath this low. So very nice to see how we have obviously made or started to make a pullback. Now we've come in towards this first area of supply, our first fresh area of supply. Now on the 4-hour time frame, AUDUSD is not very interesting. Obviously we are bearish, so this is your swing high, this is your swing low. We've now made a pullback in towards where? The 50% mark, right? So as you can see, again, the 50% mark fib is rejected. We reject supply as well, so you could look for a potential short. That's just very simply said on the 4-hour time frame. We'll then go into the 15-minute time frame, and what happened over there. Well, as you can see, remember from yesterday's video, if you have not watched it, you can always watch it back, but I'm just going to explain what I was looking for. We had here our swing high, so the overall swing structure was pushed down, a pullback, and a push down. We then were looking to see a further increase in price. Remember, yesterday's area of demand did play out, so you could have taken a long from here in towards the upside. Played out actually very beautifully, and traded towards at least this liquidity high over here. Easy 1 to 3. As you can see, we take out the liquidity here, obviously with the news, quite the impulse up. And yeah, after that, we've just been consolidating a little bit. But what you can see again is that we pretty much just, let's say if you expand the zone, no need. Overall, this supply zone just made sure that AUDUSD rejected and pushed back downwards. Now we're seeing this ascending correction. I'm waiting on AU. For now, it does look more bearish than bullish. If we just look at the 4-hour and if we look at the 15-minute time frame, but I'll be waiting for momentum to kick in. So what do I mean with momentum kicking in? If we look at the 15-minute time frame, what I'll do is that, as we can see, this is your swing high, this is your swing low. We get the overall impulse up, we start getting this impulse down. Now if we focus on the actual price action at hand here, you can very clearly see we have here the initial break. So this is now your low, this is now your high. If we are able to break this low, then I'll be looking for shorts. Otherwise, what could happen is that we just continue with this overall internal trend up higher and higher. Okay, so I would just recommend to stay out. No financial advice, of course, but look for this, then look for a short. Don't start looking for shorts inside this bullish range, because for now that is just the case. So 4 hours still looking good for some potential shorts, but we need some development. Go into next pound dollar, so GBPUSD. What are we seeing there? So GBPUSD, similar to EURUSD, we broke the overall fractal high here, the upper blue line. So this indicates to me that we have now got potential for longs again. So what we can see is that we had these two imbalance candles. So did we tap into them? Yes, we did. So to absolute perfection, actually, we've now tapped in towards this demand zone. So looking for potential continuation up higher on GBPUSD, but we need that bullish momentum to kick in, obviously. So what I'll be looking at on the 15-minute time frame is to see if GBPUSD actually wants to keep on moving. As we can see for now, there is some bullish order flow, but it's kind of like a break and then straight away a retracement. Again, here over a wick break on this high and then straight away a retracement. So waiting for actual bullish momentum to kick in, and then only will I be interested in a long. Otherwise, we could just, as you can see, build liquidity as we kind of have been over here with this ascending pattern, and then just correct down deeper, and then maybe later, once we've, let's say, come down deeper in towards the 4-hour demand zone, then get a change of character or a break of structure, and then start looking for longs. These kind of patterns are not ideal. If you do want to go long, then we just need to wait for some more bullish momentum to kick in. As you can see, we're just building up liquidity underneath the lows. Every single time a high is broken, we retrace in towards the downside with these wicks over here. So just keep that in mind when looking for a potential long. So I mean, the 4-hour obviously shifted bullish. The best entry would be over here, the 4-hour entry. But let's wait and see if we get that bullish momentum kicking in here on GBPUSD. Go into the daily real quick. What can we see there? So the daily actually also flipped fractal bullish. The only thing is we didn't see a candle close below or above, the blue line. If we are able to close above the blue line, let's say today, then I'll definitely be looking for more bullish momentum in towards the end of the week. But for now, GBPUSD just needs slightly more development or time to develop itself. Just that's my opinion on GU. Still, it is looking good for longs, but it just needs more bullish momentum. So it's just a little bit too early for now, in my opinion. Going in towards NZDUSD, what are we seeing there? Go into the daily time frame, and obviously there was a lot of demand on NZDUSD, hence why we've been moving up higher. As we can see, this demand zone pushed price up, and as you know, we had a BOS over here. So the daily break of structure, that's simply what it means: push up, pull back, push up again. Then what happens? We break the high. After that, what do we see? We saw a bearish change of character over here. Then we push down lower in towards that daily area of demand, okay? After also grabbing, of course, liquidity above this swing high over here. Now, when price makes a pullback, especially on pairs like NZDUSD, they don't necessarily need to pull back all the way back down into towards your 618 fib, and then only from there can we look for a long. No, if the bullish momentum is high enough, it will just continue up higher. But that is actually a good thing, because it gives us opportunity to look for a potential long, despite, let's say, the daily fractal structure being bearish. And with daily fractal structure, I just mean the overall structure of the candlesticks itself is bearish at the moment. So what I'm looking for is just trading from this demand zone in towards this supply zone, very simply. So then I go in towards the 4-hour time frame. What do I see over there? Okay, 4-hour came up in towards the highs, right? So higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. Let's say we then measure this swing high all the way down in towards the impulse. What we then see is that there's still room to the 50% mark, which is kind of my basic target, right? So now what we see here on NZDUSD, the only thing that I don't actually fully like is the fact that this is your fractal high over here. So the high of the bullish candle over here is your fractal high, and this is actually all the way down here your fractal low. So there is no kind of confirmation that this was a valid demand zone, except for kind of like on the internal structure. So go in towards the 1 hour, and then you do obviously see, okay, we got a 1 hour structural break over here, not with the candle close, but more kind of like the change of character. We then get a pullback in towards this imbalance, and then from there we continue up higher. So I am still looking for some short-term, NZDUSD longs. There's not really very clean structure, but if you do see any potential setups, I would say just at least long it back up in towards this next supply zone over here, and then let's identify if we look for shorts, or if we, for example, have enough momentum, break the fractal high, then we could just continue up higher, okay? So this is like your decisional zone here on NZDUSD, which will depend or which will decide if we move up higher or lower. Last of all, gold. What are we seeing on gold? Gold saw a sell-off yesterday in towards the downside from this supply zone. But as we mentioned, and as I've been mentioning for a very long time, gold is ranging. So what happens inside this range? We use the 75% mark as your resistance and the 25% mark as your support. And as you can see, we reverse in towards the upside from that support level. It's as simple as that, guys. You don't need to make this range trading on gold a lot more complicated. So what I'm now just waiting for is further upside again. What we've now seen is a 4-hour fractal break over here. So I'll just be looking for longs back up in towards, let's say, this supply zone for now. That is my next target on gold. This buy before the sell candle over here. That is the next target for gold, from where potentially again we could look for shorts. So go into the 15-minute time frame, trade with the overall 15-minute order flow. That is what I would do. Yeah, look for some potential further upside. I mean, the best long was actually already this morning upon the high break of this high over here on gold, where you got a double high break. So I would have looked for a long over there. But for now, let's see if we can reach up higher and maybe get another entry on the 15-minute momentum. So that's it for today, guys. Let's see if gold provides us with another entry, and if not, if we start breaking the lows again, we could just consolidate a little bit lower again and move, for example, in towards this demand zone over here. So that's it. See you guys in the live session starting at 9 a.m. Central Eastern Time. Speak tomorrow. Thanks.